Today on Behind the Label, Monique Lhuillier. She's taken the fashion world by storm, first with her bridal collections and now her ready-to-wear line. See why Monique is Hollywood's go-to designer for walks down the aisle and the red carpet. Plus, meet the man behind the woman and learn what question he asked to inspire the Monique Lhuillier label. In what seems like the blink of a very fashionable eye, Los Angeles-based Monique Lhuillier has emerged as one of fashion's hottest designers. She started a small bridal line, and today it's a booming multi-million-dollar international label that includes not only bridal, but also a white-hot, ready-to-wear collection. Ask any Hollywood superstar who the it girl for evening gowns is, and chances are they'll say Monique Lhuillier. Her glamorous gowns grace almost every red carpet. But first and foremost, Monique is a bride's best friend, offering modern, luxurious, romantic designs to women who long for a fairy tale wedding. What do you think it is about brides that you just love and understand so well?
Whenever I meet a bride, I know that this is her Oscars, this is her moment, and she wants to look her best. And so I'm there to try and help her accomplish that and try to make her still feel sexy. And I look at it as how to elevate her and make her look the prettiest she can for that day and still feel like herself.
When you talk about your bridal design, what would you say is your philosophy for bridal wear?
I always like to say that I work with traditional fabrics, but I make them in exciting and new silhouettes. And I always want the bride to feel like she's fashion forward and she's not wearing her mother's gown. There may be a take from her mother's gown, like the fabric it's in or the feel, but it's always modern and it's hers and it's of the woman today. I would like to think that's my edge in the bridal gowns.
That modern edge is what Monique Lhuillier is known for today. But the label might not exist at all if her boyfriend Tom Bugbee hadn't popped that all-important question.
I was a young bride. I got engaged when I was 22 and we got married when I was 23. You know, I wanted to be pampered, so I didn't make my own dress. I went out and in search for the dress and, you know, discovered there's not a lot out there to choose from, and I felt there was a void that I could fill and come up with more fashionable bridal pieces. So I always say things happen for a reason, because if I didn't look for that wedding dress so early on in the game, we maybe would have not started a company and we would not be where we are today.
Her husband Tom's role in creating that company didn't stop at "Will you marry me?" He became her business partner and is the man behind building the brand. What was it about Tom? Why was he different than other guys you had dated, or what was special about him?
Well, aside from that I was instantly attracted to him. There was that connection, you know. I just felt very comfortable with him right off the bat.
Why did you want to go into business with your husband? That's a pretty risky thing.
It was very risky. You know, we were young and maybe a little naive. We didn't plan on going to business together. He thought initially like it was going to be a hobby of mine. I wanted to make dresses. Okay, you know, let her do that. And then we came to a point where, you know, it showed potential, and he couldn't juggle his MBA at night and working for another company. So he left that, and then we worked together from that point on.
I come from an accounting background, so it was completely different. You know, 5 years in a very structured corporate environment to fashion where there's very little rules. So it was culture shock for me.
Tom is the CEO of the company. He takes care of day-to-day operations. He's the one who plans the marketing and the strategy of the company and really the direction and how to grow it into a global and luxury brand.
He also supported you. You wanted to follow your dream. Wasn't he a big part of helping that dream become a reality?
Absolutely. I always say I couldn't have done it without him. I mean, there's so many talented designers out there who don't make it, and it's not because of lack of talent, it's because you don't have the other side, which is so important. So he always tries to make me listen to the business side, like if the dresses are really going to be wearable and sellable.
In the beginning, it was her vision and her passion, and she had an idea that she wanted to follow. We didn't have a plan to begin with. We just followed that dream, and we've kind of built season after season upon that.
At what point did you say, okay, we can do this. This is going to work?
I think in year 3 we realized that something was working, because in the beginning people would struggle to say my name. They would be, you know, that Monique girl or Monique, and by the 3rd year they were saying Lhuillier.
Not only were they saying her name, but Hollywood fashionistas were clamoring for her wedding dresses. Almost overnight, Monique Lhuillier became a sensation in bridal design, and the craze started with the wedding dress of a certain pop diva. Let's talk about some of the celebrity weddings.
Okay.
Britney Spears was a big one.
They contacted me like 3 months before the event, and everything was so hush-hush, and you know, we had to meet in a secret location, and then it was canceled because paparazzi were following them. I was excited that I was the one chosen to do it, and like there was so much secrecy that the lady even sewing the dress didn't know whose dress she was making. And I came up with a couple of suggestions. I brought, I think it was like 30 gowns that I brought for her to see, and she only wanted to try 2 of them. She knew what she wanted right off the bat, and from those 2 we collaborated and made a one-of-a-kind for her. This dress is a version of what I did for Britney Spears. It's a trumpet silhouette, so it was nice and fitted through the top, and then it flares out on the bottom. I didn't do this much embroidery for her on the bottom. I did this and put it up here instead, and made her, you know, matching gloves and a beautiful neck piece. But what I did do is I left the train on it, so she had this gorgeous beaded train with the buttons going up.
How would you say this affected your career?
I think it brought a lot more attention to the brand. People were, if they were not already familiar with it after this event, they knew the name, and they were more curious to see what I did.
And the attention just kept coming after another notorious pop star said her I do's in a Monique creation.
It was funny because when I met Pink, before I met her actually, I had this image that she was a rock star girl and she was gonna look for something that was really off the beaten path and something really like avant-garde. And when I met her, she came with her little trolley, and inside she had a folder of wedding pictures that she had folded and cut out all these pictures that were mine. And so she's like, I like something like this and something, but Monique, you know, I'll try, I'm open to anything and I'll try everything. So this gown right here is what Pink wore. So we added this touch of color to her wedding outfit because it was a traditional choice, and then to bring out the rock star in her, we decided to put the black sash, which I thought was quite beautiful. So this is what it looked like. She wore the drop earrings with the black cameos, and then we did the black on her hair. And so, you know, we spiced it up and made it a little more rock star. And I was so happy with the way it turned out.
Monique Lhuillier, the designer who created a fashion sensation with her chic and modern approach to bridal design. Together with her husband and business partner, Tom Bugbee, the two have built a successful label and dressed some of the most famous brides in Hollywood. But this glamour goddess was ready for a new challenge, so she reinvented herself and went from white wedding to colorful catwalk. How did that come about, doing evening wear?
Well, after working with whites and ivories for the first 5 years of my career, I was like, I need to change. I need some color, you know. If I have to do this again, it's so we decided to do evening wear. And the thing is, the combination has been so great because I get to focus now on the ready-to-wear and evening side, and then when I approach bridal, it's fresher and it's newer. It feels like I'm excited to do bridal again.
Monique always has a way of coming up with something new that's romantic and luxurious, and still at the same time is a little bit of sexy and modern.
What's been your biggest challenge throughout all of this?
The biggest challenge from when we started to now was just trying to move forward and not being known as a wedding gown designer only, but to be taken like I can design evening wear, ready to wear, and beautiful wedding dresses. I didn't want to be just pigeonholed as, you know, that's all I did was beautiful wedding dresses.
And now brides aren't the only ones singing Monique's praises. Women everywhere are looking to slip into Lhuillier's sexy silhouettes, no matter what the occasion.
I think that she really accentuates women's curves, but they're always kind of flowy and whimsical and very, very feminine. So she suits me really well.
I think Monique Lhuillier's collections are always so beautiful, so vintagey, has such character and just so delicate and beautiful every time, never fails.
You could just see when you were at this show all of the celebrity stylists standing up, salivating, taking notes, and they're all going to be knifing each other on a way to get to those dresses.
What's your definition of glamour? Because a lot of what you do is very glamorous.
Well, glamour to me is, it has to be very feminine, elegant, and I think that's my connection to like with Hollywood, because it's all about elevating how you look on a day-to-day basis and just taking it up to the next level.
And while Monique makes that Hollywood glamour seem as effortless to design as it is to wear, the demand of turning out 5 collections a year has her on a rather grueling schedule, especially since she's decided to stay based in Los Angeles, away from the heartbeat of American fashion in New York City. What makes you decide to keep your business and your life based out of LA?
I feel we're based there and will continue to be based out there because we've already like established the group. We've got a great team in our company space there. We have 120 employees, and the company is rooted there.
You also have a personal attachment to LA, I would imagine. I mean, that's where you met your husband.
We choose to live in LA because LA is a great base for us because it's a little detached, so we have some quality time for our families and ourselves, and it's not as fast-paced, and so combined, it's a great lifestyle.
With her heart firmly rooted in Los Angeles, it's not surprising that this is where Monique and Tom decided to open their first flagship store.
We decided to just go for it. We opened the store, and it gave us the opportunity to present the merchandise exactly the way we envisioned it being presented, and it really gave us an opportunity to think about that whole process and deliver that and fine-tune our customer experience.
This retail has been an amazing experience for us, and what I like is it brings me closer to the consumer, so there's a lot more feedback that goes back and forth, and I can translate something from the runway into reality sooner and quicker. So that's been really wonderful for me.
To be based out of LA, where everything happens here during New York Fashion Week, do you feel like you're missing out being away from 7th Avenue?
I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much by being based in California. I just think that it's a lot harder on us physically to get the collection ready and then like prepping the girls, because we come out a week before and then we see the models and then we fit very close to showtime. But if I was based here, I could start this process sooner and it wouldn't be so grueling on my team.
She's fabulous. Monique is a very sweet lady, very, very talented designer, very professional, great collaborator, always open to your ideas. She's great fun to work with.
Every season I'm doing this show and I really love Monique. I think that she is the sweetest person on the world. The clothes is so amazing.
I don't have control of every element because it's a live show, so you kind of have to just hope that everything goes as smoothly as you want it to.
With her latest collection, Monique once again wowed the crowd with her abundance of jaw-dropping glamour.
I felt really great about the show, and I loved the color palette. I loved how strong the girls looked in the show. They looked very confident and sexy, and I thought the makeup reflected that. The music, the whole mood in the tent was what I wanted it to be. I used a lot of silk chiffons and linens and these billowy fabrics, but I cut them in really deep tones, and I accessorized them with this very ornate and I would say antique washed gold, which felt very right at the moment for me.
Monique approaches fashion in a very sensitive way to the feminine body. She appreciates the sensitivity of the design of the body.
It's all about the fit. Beautiful, sleek, chic, simple gowns women want to wear.
With her runway shows continually garnering rave reviews and her retail business booming all over the country, it was just a matter of time until Monique would make her indelible mark on New York City's fashion scene. You have a wing here in New York at Saks Fifth Avenue.
Yes.
What's that like?
I feel very proud when I walk into Saks and see, the rack of clothes and our name up there, and I'm like, that's glued, that's not removable.
Why do you think Saks was the perfect fit for you?
Well, Saks is, I mean, has such a wonderful following and has been in the business for a long, long time. And, you know, it stands for the same thing, service and luxury. So we thought it would be the perfect match.
I'm always interested when a Californian designer comes to town, and there's certainly a huge buzz about her, both on the West Coast and the East Coast.
I love her stuff. I mean, the lace, the textures, just the beading, all this that she uses, the fabric, the silks, they're all beautiful, and they just make you feel good.
So I feel like I'm in a very, very luxurious closet right now.
The entire collection is here, and even more pieces that we didn't show on the runway, you know, because in the runway we edited really tight and we want to show only 40 looks, but I really come up with like 70 looks a season.
Wow.
So everything is here, and it's exciting to have people come up so close to the fabric and see the detail and the workmanship.
Wow. Some people have described your clothes as, your gowns as sexy and sophisticated, very modern. How would you describe your gowns?
I like those words, sexy, sophisticated, and modern. And I always like to add the word luxurious because, like, even my gowns inside, not only is the gown outside silk, but we line it also in a silk. Little tigress over here, who doesn't need that in their closet?
Right.
This is a great, like, little sporty jacket. And it's in this great wool and it has a fur trim. But the luxurious part of it is the lining inside the jacket, you know, which once you put it on, no one else knows it's in there. But I feel like that's what makes it so special, this print and this silk against your skin.
We like secrets like that. Fashion secrets. Monique Lhuillier. In less than a decade, this young designer from Los Angeles is sitting pretty on top of the fashion world. Retail sales are booming. Celebrities are clamoring for her evening wear, and fashion's elite have given her the stamp of approval. Together with her business partner, Tom Bugbee, this dynamic husband and wife team have plans to expand their successful empire into a full lifestyle brand. And given Monique's sophisticated and glamorous background, it seems like this was simply her destiny. Let's talk about your upbringing. Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
I grew up in the Philippines. My mom is Spanish and Filipino, and my father's French, which is why my last name is French. I lived there till I was 15. My parents, you know, used to throw a lot of elaborate parties, and so at a very young age I was exposed to always dressing up quite fancy, you know, to have people over to one of the theme parties my parents were throwing. And early on I remember like watching my mother get dressed and like always be in awe of like how she transformed herself while, you know, getting ready.
You've known since a young age that you wanted, there was something about just, you know, design and fashion that just intrigued you because of your mom.
I always say she was the one who was my initial inspiration. My mother's a very glamorous woman. She just has a presence, which she still does till today, and when she puts something on, she always makes it look like $1 million.
Captivated by her mother's strong fashion sensibility, Monique developed an eye for creativity at an early age. But when it came time to pursue it more formally, her parents had other ideas. When you told your parents you wanted to go to design school,
when I told them I wanted to go to design school, they were a little disappointed from the beginning because they wanted me to go to college and have a, you know, proper education first, and then I could go to design school after college.
Did you look up to any particular style icons?
I think I always liked Audrey Hepburn and Grace Kelly. You still see some of that in my aesthetic now.
Yes.
It's always elegant, and even if it's modern, there's always that chic, elegant thread that runs through my collections.
And today, Monique isn't simply looking up to Hollywood style icons, she's dressing them. You went from the bridal wear to evening wear, and you were splashed all over the red carpets. I mean, you were everywhere, your designs. How much of an impact has that been on your business?
The red carpet has really been amazing for us. Once it hits a celebrity, it just makes your brand more out there and more familiar to the consumer.
What would you say was your first red carpet moment?
I would say my real big red carpet, you know, coming out party was Jamie Lynn Sigler in that green dress at the Emmys. People still talked to me about that dress up to today.
That green dress was definitely a showstopper, and on that Emmy night, more stars wore Lhuillier than any other designer.
Monique is such a classy lady, and her designs are always so feminine and beautiful, and I can always rely on her, and I want first dibs on everything.
You're based out of LA, so you're closer to these celebrities.
Yes.
You know, you're right there with the Hollywood crowd. I'm sure that helps.
It has been an advantage for me to like be in Los Angeles and be accessible, like last minute. Just for example, this last Emmys, I worked with Felicity Huffman right before for the award show. I get a phone call at 8:15 saying, Monique, they altered the dress wrong, it's too tight, now Felicity only wants you to touch it, and I'm like, okay, no problem, let me see what I can do.
Well, that was a fashion emergency, huh?
Yeah, but I thought she came out beautiful
Yeah,
in
she
the end,
looked
and
gorgeous.
people didn't know what we
No. She looked gorgeous, the dress was beautiful. You've dressed so many celebrities. What is it like seeing these women in your creations?
It's very exciting to see my pieces on the red carpet when I watch it on TV. I feel like it's a mini fashion show. To see them on the carpet with the right hair and makeup is exciting.
And getting Hollywood's hottest stars red carpet ready helped Monique prepare to work with one of fashion's biggest icons.
When they contacted us and said, Monique, do you want to have your own bridal Barbie doll? I said yes, because it was just, you know, she's a fashion icon. I dress a lot of celebrities, but Barbie's up there with, you know, style fashion icons, so it was great. She's actually dressed in one of my best-selling wedding dresses, and I did a special colored sash for FAO Schwartz, and I'm really happy with the way she turned out, you know, and I also did, chose her hairstyle and, you know, the makeup and her tan, and so it was so interesting to see because, you know, I used to play with Barbie dolls when I was a little girl, and I never thought that one day I'd have my own, you know, bridal Barbie out there, so this is really exciting for me.
With the Lhuillier brand constantly growing, it's amazing Monique finds the time to take on anything new. But her latest venture seems to be her greatest source of pride and inspiration.
The most wonderful thing is the birth of your baby son, Jack. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. We're so excited. After being married for 11 years, we now have our first little baby, Jack. He's been so great because not only is he an inspiration to me, but now he also teaches me how to balance my life, and it's not all work, and it's also being mommy, and so it's a nice balance, and I'm blessed. Hi, mommy's being silly. Mommy's being silly.
I think Jack certainly brought some balance, and he's that reality check that we didn't really have before. I think she's looking now beyond what we're doing and realizes that there's another little wonderful somebody that is depending on us as well.
I'm wondering how being a mother affects you as a designer.
Well, being a mother has definitely, you know, taken up so much of my time now. So I still have the same aesthetic and still want to look so together, elegant, and like, you know, chic every time I go out, but I have no more time to like fuss with the look. So what I tried to show in the collection was these pieces are easy elegance, you zip them up and then you're ready to walk out the door. So it's still accomplishing the same look, but just trying to do it with less time, because it's all about time now.
Right, you're going to incorporate a new term, glamorous mom, not soccer mom.
Yes, glamorous mom, for sure, all the way.
And with baby Jack on board, it's no wonder that Monique has a new perspective to offer her customers. Now more than ever, she's focused on making the Lhuillier label a full lifestyle brand.
How do you think what you do reflects the way you live and your lifestyle?
It's about the whole vision and the whole world that I see this Monique customer living in. And that's why not only are the dresses glamorous, but I would like to start also doing home accessories, because I want to now put her in that world. Like, I want that glamour not only to be in her wardrobe, but in her home, to be around her all the time. So that's why I'm so interested in, you know, branching out and doing other product categories.
What else is there out there that you want to conquer?
We're probably going to do home, bed, bath, and beyond. Yeah, and that's what's in the works right now, and maybe a fragrance down the line. So it's exciting. It's really all coming together.
It's not that we want to rush and do everything that's available to us. We just take our baby steps and make sure that we're comfortable in everything that we do.
And more than a decade after Tom's marriage proposal helped to launch a fashion empire, there are no signs that this dynamic duo will be slowing down anytime soon.
You've achieved so much at a young age.
Well, I don't really think of it as accomplishing so much at such a young age. I feel like there's so much more we want to do. This is great what we've accomplished so far, but we still have a long ways to go. And I think that, you know, when you're still excited and passionate about what you do, you don't know what the limits are going to be. So I feel like there's so much more to still do.
Living the dream, I would imagine, the expat dream.
I feel more free here than I do in the States.
If you're not happy with what you're doing, you should really think about it and not be afraid of change.
Nice place to live, don't you think?
Not bad.
Perfect, let's eat.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll and food. Today my guest, Anthony Bourdain. And everything is on the table.
I covered my shyness with a megalomania and exhibitionism. Some might even call it psychotic behavior.
I am actually your sous chef today.
Yes, I know, and it's something that I've wanted for years.
Ah,
the king of chefs.
I'm trying to translate and tell you something about who we are.
Bill Clinton sat for me as his last official portrait as president. I said to him, Mr. President, will you show me the love? One of his advisors actually said, Mr. President, whatever you do, don't show him the love. Larry King comes on and he holds up my picture and he says, this is disgusting.
Hi, I'm Peter Sarsgaard. I've heard from reliable sources that you're the king of smoothies. I want to introduce you to Tabitha. When you came to me, I said, you've got to get rid of gluten.
You were not that nice about it. You were very, very firm. And I was so desperate to feel good that I would have done anything that you told me.